Oh yeah, we are back Sunday night, getting ready to upload this video and muscle all my strength together because I am still sick. I've been sick since like Thursday. My throat's absolutely killing me. I don't know if it's allergies, what the deal is. It's not gonna stop me from getting my work done. You guys know how I do it. Um, I treat this team in this group chat like my own hedge fund. I want us to be in the best positions. I want to put ourselves in like the best spot to, um, make them as much money as we possibly can in the markets, but also while trading smart. Without trading smart, you won't make money. Um, so me personally, I think it's always very important to have the bigger picture in mind, especially when trading options, as it can be pretty um, important to have the best setup. So I have the SPY chart up. Excuse me, my throat's absolutely killing me. Um, so what I want to take away from last week was the 13 EMA held, tested, stretched, held, and we closed back within this range. There really isn't too much to take away from this, uh, really, except for the fact that we closed above this key 287.52 support. One, two, three, four. We closed right above it at 288.10. Um, like I said, we are finally pulling back off the MACD. We've been saying this for quite some time. This is like a 2-month period in here. We've been overextended. What my thesis is going to be, um, you know, I feel like last week the news was really out that a deal wasn't getting done. Um, and we saw a little bit of momentum to the downside, but ultimately, like, both sides really put in a pretty strong fight. Like, if we go back into Tuesday's session, that bounce off that 282.52 level was insane. I think the range was like 6 points that day to the upside. Um, so what we gotta sort of anticipate is, what is this market gonna be doing? What are we gonna be seeing first off politically? Um, are they just gonna keep adding on? I mean, those tariffs went into effect. Uh, we still are holding our uptrend here on the weekly chart. So if we do come back and take out these lows, that'll be pretty significant, and we could start to roll over and test down in this range. That's definitely possible. So what is this market anticipating? Was that the reaction to the news that we're not getting a deal? If so, um, there's still a lot of room on the upside. So I want to head into the daily chart and focus on these past two sessions. So the daily chart, our Bollinger Bands are pretty tight, which means our range is kind of contracted, constricted. Volatility is usually lesser within a tighter Bollinger Band from top to bottom. If we focus down here on our MACD, we had some excessive volume last week, and we did have a bottom on Friday in terms of our MACD momentum, and we bounced off our 282.46 level. I said 282.52 before. Close enough from this range here, that gap, and we reclaimed some of our levels. This was that 287.52 level that we reclaimed. That's going to be our first downside destination. So I think what I want to do first is go over our levels real quick. On the downside, we'll have 287.52. Then below that, we don't have much until 285.68. 284.19, and then at 282.46, and that's last week's low. So if we look up here at this key resistance at 289.11 from this previous, like, I want to say that was April, yeah. Resistance up in these levels, support, resistance. So if we reclaim this level at 289.11, which was a few ticks off from the high of Friday, we could ultimately reclaim that level, surpass our 13 EMA, and then push towards the highs again and break the all-time high. So keep that in mind, that we do have to reclaim this 289.11 level. Otherwise, me personally, I think we'll stretch out and maybe test some of these lower levels in this area before heading higher. Obviously, we want to see some sort of consolidation, And to keep in mind that we do have that bottomed out MACD in terms of our momentum. Now that's going to be important because we are below our 13 EMA and we did stretch extension out of our bottom Bollinger Band, which signals a overextended move. And obviously, like you can see here, gravity brought us back up into this range. So we do have that 289.11 level. If we reclaim that, there isn't any resistance until 290.44 and then 292.28. So there's a lot of room on both the upside and the downside. That's going to be keeping me busy on the SPY this week, as I sort of kind of want to see where this heads up, like where this is going. So are we going to reclaim this level? Are we going to open below this 289.11 level and test some of these lower lows here? Maybe there's a key support at 285.68 from this low here on 5.7. We have to be a little patient. Now keep this setup in mind as I head over here to Bank of America. Similar setup on the daily chart. Remember, we had that key weekly resistance level at, what was it, 30.12. Yeah, we'll start off on the weekly chart. Key support here at 290.47, held last week actually, and also what I want to focus on is we did hold our weekly 13 EMA as well. So is that going to let us know that money's going to come into this, or are we going to roll over, break the lows from last week, and head lower? It obviously could go either way, and we're going to have to monitor it for that. But there is potential for both upside and downside this week coming up. Now, the 290.44, 290.47 support is key because if this holds, and it did hold, we have room to push back up here until 30.12. That's our upside resistance. We do have a resistance here at 29.76. So 29.47 to 29.76 and then 30.12. Now we'll head into the daily chart, and it's very similar to the SPY. We held that bottom Bollinger Band. We didn't exactly get that bottom out on our MACD, but we held that support, and we're going to look to see if money comes into this to the upside again for continuation. We do have that resistance at 29.76 from this little tight pattern here. If we do reclaim that, I expect us to test the 30.12 range, which also will be right around where our 13 EMA is and our middle Bollinger Band. If we get that, then we chase the highs up here at 30.65. Very similar setup to the SPY. So, like I said, if we do have some sideways trading periods or we test those lows, we do have downside levels at 29.01 and then down here at 27.87. So there is a lot of room on the downside. Especially for this week, there's room on the downside and upside. Keep that in mind, please, this week. Next we got up Netflix. Similar setup again on the daily chart. Holding support at 350.50. Now, again, we don't have that bottomed out MACD. Our weekly chart held our 13 EMA again. Look at this support that we have from this level at 350.50. Look at all these weekly candles that are very heavily affected by this, and that did hold as the low last week. So this could be a key pivot point for us this week as well. Again, 353.50. 2 days it held, and we got nice intraday bounces on that level. So what I would look for preferably, we'll just go with that. At 350.50 is to kind of pull back and again test these lower levels and hold. If we do pull back on the downside, we should get that MACD a little bit lower, and allow ourselves to get a lower risk position in there and sneak up into this market when everybody else is a little bit scared. The range is, it's wide in terms of points, but as you can see, our volatility hasn't been too crazy on Netflix, but Netflix is one of those stocks where if you nail the options right, you can get a pretty big play, from 353 back up to our indicators here at around 368, 370. So there's a lot of room to trade on Netflix. That's more or less why I wanted to add it to the watch list, because it does have a similar setup to Bank of America and the SPY. Now, if we are trading sideways this week, I just threw this into the chat. If we're trading sideways, I do kind of want to focus on some smaller cap stocks to give us some sort of intraday possibilities and opportunities. When we are trading sideways in the overall market, options can be very tough. They can be boring. It can require you to sit on your hands. Now, with small cap stocks, they have a lower float, which means they're better manipulated by short-term traders. Um, they're purely traded based off chart patterns usually. When there's fundamentals built into it as well, obviously that's how a stock moves, but those fundamentals are then carried or dropped by the retail traders. So I have two on our watch list this week. Both are in the small cap world. Ticker ARWR. This is a key pivot point here at 2045. I'm going to go up here on the weekly chart. It is a very key resistance. Now, what I'm looking for here is we are holding our 13 EMA on the weekly chart. Do we pop out of this consolidated area and break to new highs? As you can see, if we do break that 2045, we have room up until the 22 range. So that gives us a lot of points to and a lot of room to trade off of. Like you see here, we have that, what is this called? The MACD. Sorry, I'm losing it. I haven't slept at all. We have our MACD reversing out of this negative period to the upside, signaling some sort of breakout. Like we see here, our Bollinger Bands are starting to open up. I don't think this makes the move in one day, obviously, but it's something to keep it key on look for this week. Maybe even into next week as well. So this is definitely a key setup you want to watch at 2045, ticker ARWR. It is a pharmaceutical company. And what I look for in these stocks is the ability to trade them intraday. There's a decent range in these kind of stocks, and it allows you to, more or less diversify your trading setups and your watch list. So this won't be a main focus, but it will be on the back burner just in case if we need to find some sort of setups and this alert gets triggered up here at 2045. Next one, ticker CROX, Crocs, the shoe company, the ugly shoe company. Pretty extended move here. Pretty drastic move to the downside. As you can see where this price level is marked as a low from November 8th. This is also a gap. If this breaks, we have room to enter into this gap, and the gap is filled at 2209. So from 2309 to 2209, that gives us a point on the downside. Now, we are overextended. We are outside of our daily Bollinger Bands. Our MACD is pretty extended. This could be a key level to watch for possible buying coming in. If we look down here on the 5-minute, we've reclaimed into the afternoon. Not much volume. The stock was pretty much dead, but I'm not really caring about that right now. What I'm caring about is seeing if we do squeeze and break out. As you can see, we sort of have a bottom here. If this rolls over and we break those lows, again, we have room to the 2209. So this could go both ways, depending on where we open Monday and what kind of action we have in the morning session. This could be a key setup. Like I said, we are overextended. Go to the weekly chart. It did hold on the weekly. It's possible we get buying coming into this play, as it was a very, very strong stock. As we look at this here, we do have a little bit of a head and shoulders on the weekly chart. But let's see what happens here. Will this break and fill the gap to 2209, or will we bounce and hold that level Monday and give ourselves a low risk setup into the rest of the week? Definitely something to keep an eye on. Like I said, just staying diversified with our setups and giving ourselves the opportunity. Obviously, I don't think we will be trading options on this or ARWR. More or less just trading with common shares. So you will have to work out a game plan with yourself if you're used to trading options. Figure out a share size that works great for your account. Manage your risk, understand your risk, and understand your reward as well. You don't want to be taking on too much risk when the reward isn't worth it. So if you guys need help with that, reach out to me. I'm always open to talk about that. I know it could be a little bit tricky when you're working with numbers, but that's our watch list for this week. That's our game plan. I'll see you guys Monday morning, but more or less focus on what's in front of you. Focus on the bigger picture. Don't pay too much attention to the noise, and the news in the market is a very noise-filled market right now. We do need to focus on the price action and the volume. So I'll see you guys Monday. It's a bit of a long video, but it had to be done. Enjoy Game of Thrones. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.